namaste, which we've all learned is probably more sensible than shaking hands from now on. I've been asked to contribute today as a panelist primarily because I have, for most of my 38 years of practice, not just had a mostly paperless office, but primarily because I have worked remotely and without office staff. Terry has discussed in detail many important points about how to keep a client's data secure while carrying it back and forth from your home to your office, which is really important, and encrypting the data. Brian has also discussed about coordinating with his assistants and how that can be possible in the current pandemic. I don't have assistants. I found that my practice doesn't need one. I think it's far better, and I want to speak to the fact that this pandemic has caused many lawyers to struggle financially. So I want to express an open invitation, in case I don't have a chance to say so later, that I'm willing and happy to share my experience in running a practice without assistance remotely, which is the economical way, by far the most economical way to do so. We need to be able to make a living in order to be able to help our clients. A remote practice may be chosen for reasons other than a pandemic. You may, like me, be introverted and diverted from work when other people are present, when the phone is ringing and when other machines are buzzing. Or you may be a sole parent of a small child, or the parent of a disabled child, spouse, or parent who needs you to be present during the day. There will also be a new normal after the pandemic, when a lack of social distancing may frighten some lawyers and clients who may not want to come to your office. And this may make a remote practice more comfortable in the long term for many lawyers. How does one manage without support staff? I find much better than with a staff. I've had nightmarish luck when I did try hiring an assistant a couple of times, so I learned the hard way. My advice is to delegate just bookkeeping to accountants who have an accounting degree, and if need be, retain a legal researcher and a tech whiz, but do everything else yourself. You will need to have fewer clients than a lawyer with assistants. Because your overhead will be much lower without office staff, your net income will be higher. Therefore, you will be more resilient to downturns in the economy and another pandemic in the future, which is unfortunately not inconceivable. My best advice is not to consider any task too menial for you to do. Instead, think of the benefits. Before my inestimable father, Robert Barron QC, began law school at the University of Alberta in 1935, he took a 6-month intensive and thoroughly practical, in quotes, secretarial course at Mount Royal Commercial School to learn Pitman shorthand, typing, bookkeeping, etc. He certainly didn't consider shorthand, typing, and bookkeeping beneath him. In fact, quite the opposite. He chose to take that course because he knew that expertise in those skills would empower him to be independent and resilient at law school and throughout his 64-year legal career. In essence, he could do everything himself, and he did. I can give you a personal example of the benefits of doing what one might consider a menial task. I scan all documents to a program called Sync. Brian mentioned that. There's Sync, there's Dropbox. I do keep some essential documents in paper on the files, but even those have been scanned. Everything has been scanned, and I do it myself. I have one machine that it's a photocopier, scanner, printer combined. It's at my home because that's where I have my office. I scan about 30 pages at a time so that the attachment isn't too large. And I walk up and down the stairs while the scanner is doing what it has to do. Thus, I get an incredible workout and avoid the occupational risk we lawyers have of being too sedentary. So, look at the benefits. It takes a long time to order medical records and write out the checks to pay for them. But by doing this, the benefit is you acquire firsthand knowledge of the file that you otherwise would not have, and you retain sole control of your checkbooks, which is certainly safest. It also takes time to be the only person in contact with clients. I don't have an assistant who does that. I do everything myself. But this isn't unwieldy if you don't take on too many clients at once. And the benefit is that this allows your clients to have more confidence that you are personally looking after their interests. So I'll close at this point. And again, my invitation is to anyone out there who would have any questions for me about the way I practice. Thank you.